Awesome. We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Chapman, and today I have a very special guest with me today, Marie Rachelle. She has a specialization in freelancing, and we are talking about how freelancing makes a great fit for many military spouses. Marie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Thank you, Jamie. I really appreciate you having me. So yes, I'm Marie Rachelle. I'm the coach for aspiring freelancers, and I've been freelancing for over 8 years now. I wish I knew more about freelancing. I'm a former military spouse of 8 years. I spent a lot of time getting jobs all over the place, moving around. Then I was freelancing on the side, which was a nice thing to have, but I wish I knew more about making it into a full-time business as I did in 2014. So I've been doing that for a really long time. And then now I'm, coaching others to do the same. And it can really be a great fit for seemingly obvious reasons, being able to freelance pretty much from anywhere, doing what you love once you figure that out, or, hash out what you have to offer as a freelancer.
Well, and freelancing is a subject that comes up a lot. So in 2019, Blue Star Families put out some research that 48% of military spouses turn to self-employment and to business ownership in their career. And we know in our space, the military spouse traditional employment space, where you go get a job for a company and you're their employee, there's huge effort behind the traditional employment arena. We at the U.S. Military Spouse Chamber are creating opportunities for military spouse business owners in the B2B space. But one subgroup that gets kind of left out of business ownership is the freelancer, because I believe, as a former freelancer myself, freelancing is business ownership, but you're not marketing a company, you're marketing yourself, right? So
Absolutely.
Talk about freelancing in a nutshell. Freelancing is a huge word. The gig economy is a huge place, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So let's break that down, and let's talk about kind of what is freelancing to begin with, and why is it a good fit for military spouses?
So I always use this answer. It works really well. So I say freelancing it absolutely is owning your own business. I actually used to have freelance business owner and a lot of different titles, things like that, because you are owning and running a business, but you're serving a certain audience, or doing a certain service for yourself, by yourself, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. I used to say, oh, I got it out of order. It's working for yourself, by yourself, for a specific purpose. There it is. Took me a minute, but that's
right.
That's my answer to that for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Working for yourself, by yourself, for a specific purpose. That's amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one I use on the news. It wasn't coming to me.
So freelancing, it's big. Every single individual has their own industry specialization. We both come from the human capital space, human resources, talent, staffing, that whole thing. So I know, just as an example, a lot of military spouses do some freelance writing, right? And that seems like an easy path to go down. So I'm going to pick on the writers here just because that's an easy one for everyone to visualize. What kind of, let's just say, for people that don't know how to be a freelancer and have never done it before, how do you even get started if you want to be a freelance writer or what have you? What the heck do you do next? I want to be a freelancer. Tell me what to do, Marie.
Oh, good, because that's what I made a whole career out of. Perfect. So, I mean, once you decide what you want to do, whether it be writing, social media, virtual assisting, you have to start telling people, right? So having your personal brand, so that can be as in-depth or as simple as you want it to be. I would recommend eventually, having a business plan, those kinds of things. Make yourself a logo, get yourself a domain name, a website, those kinds of things can come. But you straight up can freelance without any of that. You just tell your friends and family, share what you're doing, start, picking up some jobs, whether it's, if you're writing, doing resumes, things like that, seeing what works better for you. And then, like I said, just start telling people, start networking with people that you could potentially get referral business from, refer business to others and allow them to want to do that for you. That's the easiest way to get started. But then, of course, the nitty gritty, the website, social, branding yourself, getting partnerships, maybe landing a few bigger contracts. It's a little harder, I think, if you're moving, but you can become, a woman-owned business, or, a small business owner, depending on the state and your gender, to get larger, even government contracts. So there's a lot you can do. But those are the basics, I think. Just tell people what you do. They don't know until you tell them.
Right. And so that's an amazing place to start. So communicating your service offering, whatever that may be, to somebody that would be able to spread the word about you if referrals were ever to come up. So that's a good place to start. Now, technical things, your personal brand involves your social media, your LinkedIn, your website. What do you recommend people do? Because I know each industry seems to have its own specialized freelancing website. You go on there and you apply for jobs, right? So do you have any recommendations or tips or tricks for somebody to successfully apply for positions through those various platforms? Because I've seen a lot of different, freelancing places. One I like to bring into our military community is freelancevets.com.
I heard of that recently. Yeah, I did.
Awesome. But there's so many of them. There's so many different platforms.
There really are. I guess to be general, the first thing to do, if you have an accountant or an attorney, I got an LLC because it just worked better for me. But doing that, getting that kind of official thing going is really nice. But then once you have that, if you have an EIN, any of those things, and you start rolling into wanting to get work other than word of mouth, it was Freelance Vets, right? I was going to say I registered for that. So Freelance Vets, personally, I'm a huge favorite of Freelancing Females. It's the world's largest group of freelancing women. A good friend of mine founded that a few years ago. So Freelancing Females is really great. I know a lot of people are a fan of like Upwork or Fiverr. I won't knock on them. I've never used them. I know depending on what you do, whether you're graphic or writing, it can be good. And then there's another newer company. It's called the Mom Project, which you don't have to be a mom. You don't have to identify as female either to actually register and look at their job board. And then another thing that's a little unconventional, but it used to work and I do it all the time. I would search Indeed or just any local job board for part-time. So I was a social media manager. So I would look for part-time like admin roles or marketing roles and actually pitch them and say, hey, I see you're hiring for this, but I have experience. I think I can do it, or I know I can do it, and I can do it at a more cost-effective model for you. And sometimes they picked up, sometimes they didn't. But I got a few clients that way. So
great. So
you got to think outside the box when you want to get new clients. That's for sure.
Well, and there's for voiceover actors, there's a freelancing platform, and there's more than one of them. If you want to be a voiceover actor for a YouTube video or something. But there's like industry specific ones. There's the Upworks, there's the freelancevets.coms, there's the Fivers, and they underneath each of those, you can be whatever kind of freelancer from whatever industry and apply for jobs in there or put your profile up. So tell us about the pitch. The pitch seems to be the place where the rubber hits the road. So you've messaged this out to your community. You've communicated what you do and who you are to your network. You might have even set up a website or tailored your LinkedIn to say that messaging. And now you're actually ready to go out there and get clients and you're pitching to them. So give us some really basic pitch success tips if you want to go out there and get freelancing.
And before I do that, I also want to mention co-working because I know you and I connected on that level. So co-working, if there are co-working spaces available, go. Networking is huge, but like co-working and networking, it all kind of goes together. Just wanted to touch on that for a minute. But as far as your pitch, creating your brand, who you are, what you do, super important. But then if you are cold, say you're emailing now or messaging now, since we can't really like knock on doors or anything, I always crafted a really simple message. So this was like my secret sauce. I'd say, hey, I would message people or make a list of places that I'd want to work with and say, hey, I'm Marie, I started freelancing or I've been freelancing for this amount of time. This is what I specialize in. I would love to work with you. If there's an opportunity for that, let me know. I would never be too salesy or pitchy, kind of how you see sometimes in those like targeted, social media messages that come to you and you can totally tell you're being sold to. You're like, no. But if it came to you like hey, Jamie, my name's Marie. I do social media. Like, I'd love to work with you. If there's an opportunity, let me know. And you're probably more inclined to respond to something like that because that's how we talk day to day. So that's, I guess, my formula for pitching is just create something that sounds like you, and then obviously have your brand and anything in addition to back that up. but you just want to start the conversation. You don't want to overwhelm them in
Right.
the first 2 minutes that they interact with you or meet you on social.
Right. And so that's something you could do that in an email. You could do that on LinkedIn Messenger. There's a lot of ways to send that short and sweet message.
Hmm.
And it's not really intrusive the way you phrased it. What really
No.
bothers me is, gosh, those, you get them on LinkedIn all the time. And
Yeah, I said social media message, but yes,
yeah,
I definitely meant LinkedIn.
yeah, you get hey, I work for such and such software company. We provide blah, blah, blah for recruitment. And here we go. And then they send
Are
you
you
two.
looking to clear more calendar space? Are you looking to book more,
Yeah.
six-figure clients? I'm like, can you just say hi for, hey, it's like when you get the text from someone in the morning that says, hey, can you do this? Or, hey, are you going to be here today? I'm like, good morning. Hello. How are you? Yes, I will be there.
Yeah, that's great. It's a good analogy too,
It
because
really is.
you don't want to necessarily wake up and get all your deliverables sent to you in your morning cup of coffee, get interrupted. So, yep, that's fun. I like that. Just kind of warm up first. You be human. You do something, and it's kind of nice to communicate that in a simple way. So, good tip. And it's simple, and it's not overwhelming either. It's not like a 20-step plan to successfully pitch
There
your.
really isn't.
It's simple.
Because it's freelancing, like there is a part of freelancing that's free. It's not it's not the payment part. And it's not always, do whatever you want, whenever you want. But for the most, like you are free to be who you are.
Mhm.
So my business name, as you saw, is Business Be Active. And I created this like be you, be social, be active kind of methodology. And it works. And some people, it's just like a human, when you interact, it's either you take them or you leave them. You like them, you want to work with them, or you're like, oh, not my cup of tea, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
that's
then they
awesome.
find another freelancer that is, which is fine. That's the glory of who we are. There's so many of us, and we're all very niche. That's a huge trend right now, is like niching down. I'm the coach for aspiring freelancers. Like
Mhm.
those are the specific people I want to work with. And more people are doing that now, even in their fields. So
Well, just to plug her, I put a link to her website here in the video description. You can go there and check it out if you'd like. We're coming up here on time, Marie. So is there anything else in parting, final tips, tricks, words of wisdom that you would like to leave today with our audience?
I think the biggest thing is that if you've been struggling or having any type of difficulty with either finding work or finding happiness in your work, explore freelancing, reach out to me, we can just have a conversation about it. Sometimes people really just don't know where to start. Um, but if you're interested in doing it, I think that's the part that you can't teach, or the part that you can't figure out, is having the drive and maybe even just the confidence to be like, I know I can do this and I'd be great at it. I just don't know where to go or what to do. That's the biggest thing. So I usually write or say, just like do it, find the resources that'll help you get there, and find your people, whether it's, other freelancers you have to meet, or, say you have a great supportive system at home, that's great too. But being surrounded by good people, and then just having the confidence to do it, and not just like, don't wait. We've all learned that if we wait, like we might not be able to do it, aka traveling. I'll always go here. Well, I can't even bother going there now, so it makes it worse. Just give it a shot.
Well, and I can speak for, I did it. That was for a couple of intermittent years there. My primary source of income was freelancing, and I would write resumes for people. That was how I, spun up my business to be what it is today. If I hadn't have started out doing that, it never would have grown, because I wouldn't have had any money. You got to start somewhere. So
I love what you do.
yeah,
Thank you for your work and
yeah,
everything. In another life, I would have done something. So I started off writing resumes too, so
yeah.
I was right there with you.
Yeah. Well, please don't ask me to write your resume. That was what I was talking
No,
about.
that was a long time ago.
But that's how I got my start, was both kind of writing resumes for my friends. And then I got on some platforms and would pitch to people, hey, I'll write your resume.
Mhm.
And it really worked. So anyway, Marie, thank you so
Love
much
it.
for your wisdom today. Any questions, if you have them, whether it be now during the video or after, drop them in the comments. Make sure you @tag myself or Marie, so we see that you have a question, even if it's later. And we are so grateful for you today, Marie. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.